Hi there, I'm Jason, and today I'm going to show you how to save your own tomato seed. It is September here in Northern California, and it is the end of the tomato season, and this is the time of year you're going to want to save some seed and set it aside to grow next year. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to select your best fruit, or from one of your hardiest plants. You don't want to be saving seed from a diseased plant, so pick one of your really hardy plants, tomato plant that did really well. I'd select a nice fruit, and this one's pretty nice. It has a little bit of sunburn, but this is my favorite tomato. It's a Julia Child tomato, and yeah, I'm gonna save some seeds so that next March here in Northern California, I can grow it again. So we'll get started. So you're going to want to have a sieve, a hand towel, because it's a little messy, not that messy, but a little. You're gonna want an envelope to store your seed in, and a permanent marker or pen and paper. I have 3 mason jars just to kind of show you how I do this. The first one is the one that we're going to use right now. So I've already labeled it with what it is. You always want to label. Don't skip this part, because it's so easy to think that you're going to remember what you put in the jar, and then, a few days later, you don't remember. So always put the name of your seed and the date that you started it, and that's what you're going to want to start with. So I'll get to these, I'll show you these really quick. So eventually what you're going to do is you're going to take the seed from your fruit, you're going to add it to the water, which is regular tap water, and you're going to let it ferment for 3 to 5 days. And what that does is it dissolves the gelatinous coat that's around the tomato seed. That gelatinous coat is there to prevent the seed from prematurely sprouting inside the fruit. It's also there so that when the fruit drops to the ground and the seeds fall out, it has a medium that it uses to stick to the ground where it's going to grow. But we don't want that when we're storing our seeds. So we're going to remove that coat so that we can clean the seed, dry it, and store it in a dark, cool place until we want to use it next year. So we're going to add our seed to here, this water. And then a few days later, I've already kind of rinsed this, but what you're going to notice happen is the pulpy part of the tomato and like the seed coating, it'll start to fog up the water, and a lot of it will float to the top. And so I just pour it out. The seeds that are viable have all sunk to the bottom, and that's normal. That's the way it should happen. Whatever's still floating after 3 to 5 days, you want to pour out, and then just add water, let the seeds sink, pour out, and then you're going to want to rinse it finally under the sink through a sieve. What I do is I then put the seed back into the jar, and then I just put a paper towel on top of it to absorb the water off of the seed, and I leave it there until it dries. What I like about this is it uses a lot less space than just laying out a paper towel and covering it with little seeds. That works, but I just feel like this takes up less space on my counter. So I just put a paper towel in there and let them dry. And then once they're dry, I add them to an envelope. You want to put the botanical and common name of your plant with the date that you stored the seed. And you're going to want to store this in a cool, dark place. For tomatoes, you're going to want to do this until next March. This method is just for tomatoes. You can also use the same method for squash, but all seed, or each seed, has a different type of seed saving requirement. Some you don't want to wet until you're ready to plant it again. This one, I'm showing you how to dissolve that coat that would otherwise mold in storage. So you want a knife, your tomato, and what I do is I just cut a piece off, and I'm not going to save all the seed from this tomato. That would be so many tomatoes. So as you can see, we have the seeds there in the side, and then you're just going to want to scoop them into the water. I'm just gonna do a few to demonstrate, but if you plan on sharing this with family and friends, you might want to save more seed. If you're just going to grow this yourself and you don't plan on growing that many plants, you don't really have to save that much seed, because as you can see, tomatoes are just loaded with seeds. So we have that, and as you can see, so this stuff starts to float. Right now it's sank, which is nice. I'm going to let this ferment for 3 to 5 days, and then I'm going to come back and check. If your seeds haven't sank and the coating hasn't dissolved, you might need to wait just a little bit longer. That does happen, so expect it. And then once, you know, they've really separated, you're going to want to rinse, you know, kind of just to get the pulp out of the way so that when you are ready to pour this mixture through the sieve, you don't have all that pulp in there. So I just pour the pulp out and then just keep adding water until it's semi-clear. And then we have our seed. So what we're going to want to do with the seed is you just label your envelope, and this makes this so easy. Pour it in there. Oh, and just in case you wanted to see the seed, there it is, the dry, clean tomato seed. So we add it in there, and then I just like to fold the top down to prevent them from falling out. And we're done. This is how you save tomato seed. This is also how you can save squash or cucumber seed. Any questions on seed saving when it comes to tomatoes, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe for updates on my newest videos. And once again, as always, thanks so much for hanging out. My name is Jason.